Hey everyone, and welcome to Money Moves for Teens. My name is Talia Levy, and in this podcast, I will be talking about business, entrepreneurship, and of course, money. I hope you take something away from this episode and enjoy. Are you the type of person that doesn't want to be confined to just one job, one service you have to carry out for others day after day? If that's you, another option you have is to make and sell your products to people. With doing this, you have much more control over your daily tasks and how many different kinds of things you're selling. This week, the topic we'll be focusing on is What Jobs Teens Can Start Today, Products Edition. As I explained in my last episode, it's important for teens to not only learn about money, but to make some of their own. The topic becomes much more relevant when you're figuring out what to do with your hard-earned money. I talked about services that wouldn't require anyone else to hire you, so you could start working no matter your age. This episode, I'll go over 6 different things you can make and sell to people. I'll talk about the pros and cons of each and where you can sell these items. So, if you love creating things or just prefer making money this way, keep on listening. The first thing you can make and sell to others is food. If you have a passion for cooking and people enjoy and appreciate what you make, you can start making money from that. A pro to this job is that you don't need to spend a lot of money to start. You're not opening up an entire restaurant at first, so you won't need to pay for utilities, rent, utensils, and things of that nature because you'll be working out of your own home. That's also probably a smarter way to start because you'll see people even like what you make before you expand your business. Another pro is that you can choose your own hours, which also goes for the rest of these business ideas I'm going to mention. Any kind of business where you're self-employed usually means you can choose when you work, and some people love the flexibility. A con to selling food from home is that it may be hard to separate both worlds, your business world and your at-home world. Sometimes, when the two intertwine, it can become stressful for those at home, so make sure everyone is on board with the idea first. There are several different places where you can sell food you make from home. The condiment marketing company ran a survey and found that 87% of the people sell their products on their own website. This is good because you can sell direct to consumer and not worry about paying a percentage to a distributor or retailer. Also, for the next 5 products I'll talk about, making your own website is always an option for you to sell your products on. In the survey, they also found 68% of the people sold at farmers markets and special events. While there usually is a cost to rent a stand or space to do this, which is still less than opening up a restaurant, you can speak to your consumers directly and build relationships with them. The company also found 35% of the people sold their product to restaurants. The nice thing about doing this is that if there's a contract involved, it can be a pretty stable stream of income for you. Also, if the restaurant features small and local products on their menu, more people may come across you and the food you make. The second type of product you can make and sell to others is jewelry. I feel like at some point we have all played around with making homemade friendship bracelets or used beads to make necklaces, and if making jewelry is a passion of yours and you have a talent for it, start selling the jewelry you create. A pro to selling jewelry is that you can create whatever you like and always be coming up with new designs. The number of designs you choose to make is limitless, and that's great if you're the creative type, always thinking of new ideas. Also, it doesn't have to be expensive. The cost for this business depends a lot on what materials you use, so if you don't have as much money to start up, there are still ways to make it work. A con to this business is that the jewelry market is big. That means there are many people out there making jewelry and you would have some competition, but don't let that discourage you. Like I mentioned earlier, if you are confident that people will love your creations and you have a why, a mission that sets you apart from the rest of your competition, go for it. There are so many places online where you can sell your jewelry and really any homemade craft in general. Some examples are Etsy, Amazon Handmade, and Artfire. If you decide you also want to sell in person, you can consider selling at local malls, craft or art fairs, home parties, and gift shops. The third way you can make money is by selling your designs to websites to put on merchandise. Have you ever come up with a cool design you felt like could be a label or logo for some brand? You can actually send those designs to different sites and people can buy things like clothes, blankets, or mugs with your artwork on it. A pro to this is that everything is online. You don't need stacks of t-shirts in your living room waiting to ship off to your customers. You just send your design and it's printed on demand. Also, if you're thinking of going into the fashion industry, maybe considering making your own clothing line, you can see if people like your style and designs first. A con is that usually the site you put your artwork on will take a percentage of each sale you make. You can sell your designs on websites like Redbubble, Cafe Press, or Merch by Amazon. The fourth product you can sell to others are greeting cards. There's a card for every occasion, so people will never run out of the need for your product. If making these cards interests you, start to think about what kind of artwork or wording you want to use. Is it funny, sympathetic, or celebratory? Of course, you don't have to confine yourself to one of those categories, but think about what kinds of things you're best at creating or how people can possibly recognize your work apart from others. A pro to making these cards is that there are relatively low startup costs and your business can become expandable. atouchofbusiness.com gives the examples of putting your artwork or wording onto things like magnets and bookmarks. A con to this business is that the average greeting card is not super expensive, so you making your products look professional with nice packaging or marketing can cost a substantial amount of money, and it may take many sales before you start earning a profit. Also, while there is still a need for these cards, more people are choosing to send these greetings from their phone. StudyBreaks.com recorded that the overall industry is declining 3% annually, and the retail spaces in stores like Walmart and CVS has decreased by 27% in the last 5 years. With that being said, the site states there are still around 6.5 billion of them being purchased annually, so there is definitely still a chance for you to make and sell these cards if that's what you want to do. If you need some ideas as to what artwork you should put on these cards, look at some that are already out there in stores and online. How many of them have short messages, and what types of colors do they use for different occasions? You can sell your greeting cards on websites like Etsy or Greeting Card Universe. You can also sell in person at grocery stores or at local retailers that specialize in stationery and gifts. The fifth product you can sell to others is arts and crafts, and there are so many things that fit under this category. If you want to focus more on the art side, you can sell paintings or photographs, for example. If you're more into the crafts, you can make things like bath bombs or candles. If it's creative and people have a use for it, just sell it. A pro to making arts and crafts is the wide variety of options to choose from, so you have the choice to expand to other types of products if that's what you want to do. Also, depending on what art or craft you choose to create, it can be relatively inexpensive to start. A con to this is that, like with jewelry, there is a big arts and crafts market. But again, if you can set yourself apart from the rest of your competition with your art or craft, go for it. If you want ideas as to what you can make, I suggest looking at websites like momjunction.com or craftsbyamanda.com. You can sell your products on Etsy, Big Cartel, and Artfire. In person, you can sell at gift shops and art fairs. And lastly, the sixth way you can make money from selling products is by creating your own. You don't always have to follow in the footsteps of others to make money. If everyone did that, we would never have anything new. Of course, you can take inspiration from other products out there or improve upon something that's already created. But if you see a problem or know how you can make a task easier for someone else, invent the product to make it happen. A pro to doing this is that if it works out, you would be the first to do it. That can open up many doors for you and your invention. A con is that there will be most likely a lot of trial and error involved with your experimenting and creating stages. That can mean a significant amount of money being spent. Also, to patent an idea or to basically make it illegal for someone to copy or steal your invention can be a long process and cost lots of money. But on the other hand, you don't want people taking credit for your work. So that decision really just depends on how invested you are into your business and products and whether or not you think it will actually work out. Where you sell your invention is determined by what its use is, so I can't give you anything specific, but do research as to what market or industry your product will be in and go from there. So that was all for the products you can start selling to other people no matter your age. There are more than the 6 I just went over, but the categories were broad and there are many creations that can stem from each. I hope this episode gave you ideas as to what products you can start selling now to make some money. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. I hope you got something out of it and feel free to reach out to me with any questions through my social media. You can find me on Twitter at moneymovesforteens and on my website at moneymovesforteens.weebly.com. All the links will be in this episode description. I hope to see you next week. Bye!